Welcome back. It is Tuesday, January 31st, last day of January. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kristen Langford. I am a pre-K teacher in Florida. And for those of you that are continuing to come back, welcome back. Thanks for watching. This week's theme is all groundhogs-ish. We also celebrated the 100th day of school, which we don't really do a lot in pre-K with the 100th day of school because maybe like 3 of them can count to 100, and it's just, they're gonna have such a big celebration in kindergarten that, as usual, I like to let kindergarten have their moments and certain things and let pre-K have their moments and other things. But we're basically focusing on Groundhog's Day. Today we actually read a story on our Mayan. It's like a digital program, which I can show you. And it kind of talked about Groundhog's Day, and it was hilarious because the kids were just like, they had faces like, what? A groundhog is what is gonna show us if it's spring or not? Like, super confused. So before I show you all of that, I just really want to quickly show you the Play-Doh and the sensory and our art project before the kids get back from lunch. So let me show you. So our pre-K Picassos, it's a little dark because next door is at lunch as well. But we are making groundhogs. They look like beavers, but that's okay. Sensory is super fun this week. I'll put a picture up in the corner as well as what it looked like before the kids got a hold of it. But we have the beans, we have grass, brown, black, all the different things. And then we have these, which have groundhogs upside down. And then you have to find the matching shadow. Play-Doh is on the table because we just played with it before lunch. But we have our rollers as usual, our cutters. We switched over from the blue Play-Doh to the green Play-Doh. We have brown pom-poms. We put in some green popsicle sticks. We also have these groundhog cutouts. So they're basically making burrows and stuff and covering up the groundhogs. And then obviously our pipe cleaners that they all love to use. My camera is literally flashing at me that that battery is about to die, so I'm glad I got that in today. Okay, so hello, welcome back. It is Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday, sorry. It's cooking day, but it's actually Thursday. Yesterday I had a training, and I will tell you all about that training later when I have more time, but I'm kind of out of breath because I just had to leave campus to go home, which I live like a minute away from the school, to get my juice squeezer thing. I'll show you guys in a minute. It's because we're making lemonade. L is for lemonade. So I'm gonna set that up, and then I will get back on maybe at lunchtime, tell you all about the training because it was fantastic. All right. Okay, so I just got back from my house to get that fruit press thing, and then I'm setting everything up, and I realized that I didn't bring the pitcher, so killing it, clearly. We're just gonna use a bowl, and it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out fine. At least we have a microwave in the classroom because you need hot water to mix with the sugar to like make it kind of like a syrup. So we'll microwave some water to make it hot instead of like boiling on the stove because that's like even more excessive. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna set up these cookbooks and then hopefully get this done. Ooh, okay, it's lunch. I just like scarfed down some food. The kids won't be back for 15 minutes, but that lemonade, so good. It's such a simple recipe too. I found it on like Pinterest, and my girls over summer will have like a lemonade stand, and that's the lemonade that we make. So if you're interested, I can link the recipe down below. It's literally hot water, sugar, lemon juice, and cold water. I mean, I'm sure that's how you make all kinds of lemonade, but anyways, it's delicious. Okay, so yesterday I went to the training for Learning Without Tears, which is a part of like Handwriting Without Tears. And although I've used a lot of these strategies, like just that I've picked up throughout my career, I've never actually been trained on the curriculum. So it was very exciting to be able to like know exactly what every piece is for. Like, I've been teaching for a while, so I started using some of the accessories that I'll show you in a minute just in my small group, just because I'm like, oh, I know how to teach and this is how I teach it. But when you go to the actual training, they teach you the exact verbiage to use, and it all like correlates together and stuff like that. The program is actually a 36-week program, and obviously we're just now getting the curriculum. It's February, and we don't even have the online code to be able to get online and like play the songs and all that, because that part's really cool, especially with our smartboard. I can project the workbook pages that they have to do, and it actually has a way for me to like play the music right through their website instead of like a CD player, because I don't even have a CD player. So the suggestion from our county for this year is just to like give ourselves grace and implement certain lessons that we feel like our kids could use. Like one of the lessons that they modeled in the training that I was actually like, yeah, that could be very easily implemented into our morning meeting, and something that I recognize that my kids do need help with. It's a shaking hand activity, and it's just to help them like recognize what their right hand is versus what their left hand is. Not to say that like, you know, everyone has to write with their right hand. It's not that, because you know that like if they can learn what their right hand is and they know that they don't write with their right hand, then that means it has to be this hand, the left hand. What's left is left, is what they said. So anyways, it's like a shaking hands, and they're literally just saying hello, like a good morning song, but they're practicing using their right hand, and just like that automatic, like this is the hand that I shake with, will help them to be able to, hopefully most of the right-handers pick up their utensil, crayon, whatever, with their right hand. Another thing that was like an aha for me was I already know that like golf pencils are the way to go and like small crayons are the way to go. However, what really kind of like opened my eyes a little bit was that they said the beginning of their curriculum, like pretty much the entire first book of pre-K, is all done with a crayon. And I feel like in here, like we color with our crayons, but when we do our cookbook, for instance, we trace with a pencil. And so like now in February, like that would be appropriate for some of them, but in the beginning of the year, even though it's a golf pencil, that might not have been as appropriate as I had thought. So that was kind of like an aha. I can work on that. And then to go back on that right left, that is also important because it helps them to know the difference between reading and writing from left to right. Because like I said last week, they did that ordering activity, like putting it in order by height, and they did it right to left instead of left to right. So that's like another skill that these readiness skills help build upon, you know, at their level. Okay, and then the last aha, I mean, there was like a million, but this is like the last aha that I was like, I can definitely fix that. It has to do with the cookbook as well, and just probably anything that you guys see on Teachers Pay Teachers or any of that. But when you're tracing letters, it's always that handwriting with like the dashes or the dots, and they're supposed to like basically connect the dots or connect the dashes. Well, they said that that's actually not the best way to do it, and the best way to do it is with solid lines. So like if I wanted to remake my cookbook or give another option, because in older grades they can handle it more, but for pre-K it's not really the right way, I would use like a really light gray. Like I would do regular print, and then I would just make it super light gray so they're tracing over it. And they said that's because it gives them like the starting point, like you can direct them to start there at the top and down and all that. And then obviously with handwriting without tears, they're gonna teach them all the different types of letters, like where we start at the top, where we might start in the middle line, etc. Actually, I lied, there's another aha. The capital letter. Like they kind of said do what you can, go per kid, whatever, but like, you know, when kids are learning to write their name, we're forcing almost, or like trying to show them like uppercase and then lowercase for the rest. And that is important because that's how we're gonna do it. But at this age, they said it's important for them to recognize their name in all caps as well as uppercase and lowercase. And then where they are developmentally with holding their crayon and how they're making their strokes is gonna kind of help guide you to what they should be practicing of writing their name. So that was kind of like interesting. And like my sign-in process, I'm thinking about like I can differentiate that a little bit better. So I just love trainings that you walk away from with a bunch of like, there's some things I feel like I'm doing a great job, the kids are getting a great education by all means, but there's always room for improvement. There's always new research and ways to change things when you learn. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. So another thing that I wanted to show you about that is the book. So this is what I was talking about, my first school book, and it has like, it's not really supposed to be done like, you know, 1 page every day kind of thing, but it's like a supplement and can help them. And in the beginning, it has a lot of coloring skills, which I feel like gets skipped over even in pre-K. It's like we just like expect them to, okay, color the picture. Sorry, my camera just like became full from no videos at all. I'm not sure what's going on with my SD card, but I have got to figure it out because it's driving me crazy. I just had to upload my videos and then get back on here, and now I have like 4 minutes. But what I was gonna say is we kind of just like jump into like expecting these kiddos to be able to color. However, like if they're not at the diagonal level and like the shape has diagonal type coloring, then that's gonna be pretty hard for them. So anyways, it was a lot of like really great ideas, and I feel like the research is there and it makes sense. So I'm excited to be able to use it. This year, we're not gonna be able to like start from the beginning and go from there. So I'm gonna pick out a couple things here and there to do in my like whole group. But I just added my fine motor, which I'll share like what that looks like on my slides as well. Not right now because I have 4 minutes, and during those fine motor, what I'm thinking is they all get to pick where they want to go, and then I can call over a couple kids based on where they are. Like, you know, the couple of kids that might just be needing to work on coloring, like point, aim, scribble, you know, do an activity like that. Some of my kids that might be a little bit higher, then we might be working on tracing and building and something else in this workbook. So I don't know. Nonetheless, there's a lot of great resources, and if you want to hear more about the things that they have and the resources they have, I can share that. Just comment down below and I'll add it to my next week's video. All right, gotta go. Kids are coming back, and I'll try to get on here tomorrow, wrap up the video, small group activities, all that kind of stuff. See you soon. Hello, happy Friday, yay! Okay, it's lunchtime, and I'm starting the video right away at my lunch so that I can eat afterwards. So I make sure I get through everything I need to. I feel like this video kind of took a turn with my training, but I'm gonna give a little bit extra of that training stuff, and then I'll just like fly through what we did this week since the routines are pretty much the same, just a couple of different activities. What I wanted to show you is I did start some assessments on here, because in the back of their book, they give an assessment like this, and I already have my own data binder, you know, that you guys have seen, where it goes over like letters and stuff, but it was very helpful to have a spot to write their name, and then you put like a dot of where they started their letter, and then it also has a evaluation about how they draw a person. So we drew people, and then we added, I don't know if you can hear that, but if you can, that's when the wind blows. It sounds like there's like a rabbit in our thing that goes above the oven. I don't know what that is, like the vent thing, so that's fun. It's not a rabbit, we figured out it's like the vent outside with the wind blowing. But anyways, it like says, did they put a head, eyes, mouth, nose, hands, feet, da da da, because they have a whole lesson about how to draw a person in here. So I liked that part. And then also it has all these questions about like how they hold the crayon, if they're holding the paper, if they're filling in their coloring, which hand, which I know a lot of this stuff, but it's like cool to have it all in one spot. And then they worked on tracing and drawing some shapes and stuff. So I'm starting to do that, because next week I'm going to start using some of the book during the fine motor time as well as during math time. So I'll share that in next week's video. The other thing I wanted to show you is I reorganized down here. It's still not ideal, but like, you know, I have my buckets up here with like small group stuff, which I need to change out today. But these are all the materials that it came with. So like this chalkboard right here and that, those are for like when you start doing lowercase letters. This stuff I use in guided reading, and then picture cards I use. But those little back here, those are like slate boards, kind of like chalkboards for them to practice writing the letter, and then they erase it with like wet and yeah, something like that. I think I write it, then they erase it, and then they trace it is how it goes. And then over here, I have some whiteboards, and then like the lesson plan book and some letter cards, name cards. There's like the big letter cards that show them how to build a letter. Then all the way down here, it comes with those magnadoodle things so we can build a letter, trace a letter. Then over here is the Play-Doh cards. These are my guided reading books finally. And then this is the building mats, those blue ones, and then all the like sticks to build the letter. So this is like a ton of materials, and I just needed it to be easily accessible. So I kind of redid this area. For small groups this week, obviously literacy, it is letter L week. So we did our letter L books from our Science of Reading. We also kind of used a couple of the handwriting without tears to build the letter L, things like that. And then for Miss Sam and Miss Whitney, they kept the same structure. So we got our L is for lions. And then Miss Whitney did her cutting and sorting of what starts with L, what doesn't start with L. We only got to small groups twice this week, so we didn't do like a double rotation. I'm not really sure why. I think it was because I wasn't here. That's what it was. I wasn't here on Wednesday for my training, so it's kind of hard to do small group without all of us here. And then on Thursday, the lemonade kind of took a while, so we didn't get to small groups, but that's okay because there's always next week. In math, you know, this week was all about non-standard measurement. So in my group, we did an activity, I'll show you, of non-standard measurement, but the other two groups, they did a groundhog type activity that is kind of like a review. For my group, it was non-standard measurement, and it's a snowflake measuring. We're kind of past snowflakes, but it was a perfect lesson, so who cares? Basically, they just use snowflakes and they measure how tall or how long it is depending on the paper. Miss Sam's group was a number ordering group, so I have differentiated papers for this too. It is from Amy Swan, I'll link it down below, and they basically built a number line, and then the lower groups had smaller numbers, 0 to 10, and the upper groups had some teen numbers in there to fill in the missing blank. Miss Whitney's group did this worksheet light and heavy, which I think it got cut off where it's from, but if I can find it, I'll link it down below for you. Just a review, because we already did this in our STEM lab, so it's like not an actual object. They had to look at the picture of the object, which surprisingly is actually harder than having an actual object. So, you know, they just talked about, can you really pick up an oven? And one of the kids was like, in my Barbie dream house. And we're like, no, a real oven. So anyway, sorting of light and heavy. I'm gonna wrap up this video by showing you my slides, because I wanna show you the new fine motor slide that I have in there. And then also, yay, finally, I put up slides on PowerPoint for you guys in my store. I will link that down below for you. I haven't figured out how to upload it as like a Google slide. I tried, but then it wasn't linking to my Google account, so I don't know. I'm working on that. So once I get it on Google slide, we'll get there. But for now, it is a PowerPoint, and I think you can upload a PowerPoint into Google and it'll change it around, and then you can edit it through Google Slides, because I use it through Google Slides. I don't use it through PowerPoint. I made it on PowerPoint because I know how to use PowerPoint better, but then I like screenshotted the image and put it into Google Slides. So let me show you. This is the new fine motor slide. So simple, cute background, just says fine motor. And then these I'm changing weekly. So I have 3 activities for 3 tables. So I'm gonna try and keep some type of cutting activity every week. This one was like lacing, and then this one they had to use tweezers to sort it, stickers. So it doesn't have to like stay with the same theme. It's just 3 different fine motor activities, and they get to pick throughout the week where they go. And then during this time, I'm gonna pull them back and do some of the book work or building letters or something like that, whatever that group needs. All right, and then for literacy this week, we did some books on Mayan about Groundhog's Day, and then this one was like a nonfiction book about groundhogs. Okay, I'm sure I'm missing something, but the reason that I use Google Slides over using PowerPoint is because you can insert videos right into it. So like my brain breaks inserted right in there. My, you know, engagement part of my math lesson right inside of there. I don't have to like open up YouTube. So that is why I use Google Slides versus PowerPoint. And I hope it helps you guys. If you have any questions about it, link it down below. If you have any pages that you want me added, might need to be added in there or anything like that, add that down below in the comments. I can try and work on it for you guys. As always, thanks for watching. Click that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell, and I'll be back next week. Bye.